Hey, welcome back to Pete Plays. We're playing a brand new game today. We're not done with King Knight, but I wanted to shift gears a little bit. We had a request from friend of the show, Patrick, to bring back some Philosophy Fridays. So we're going to do that, starting with a game that I know pretty well. So that way I won't be like starting to say things and then getting interrupted because I'm not able to do the thing. So, if you know what's coming, if you don't know, now you know. We're doing Philosophy Friday, The Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, also known as Zelda 3. To me, most people just call it Link to the Past. Yeah, it's a great Zelda game. I'm not gonna pay a lot of attention to the like text. Like normally I'll do like voices and sort of make things dramatic. I'm not gonna do that too much just because I'm gonna be trying to focus a little bit on sharing my thoughts about some things. And today, I wanted to start with, let's go. Today I wanted to start with talking about, I'm a prisoner in the dungeon of the castle, my name is Zelda. There are a bunch of missing girls, I gotta go save them. That's like my dad over there, or my uncle maybe, I don't remember. But he's gonna run away and then I have to go find him. So, Philosophy Friday, a lot of things been going on in the world. I'm filming this on Thursday, March 12th. It'll go up tomorrow, Friday the 13th. Hey, I'm going out for a while. Don't leave. Be good. I don't know why there's only one bed in this house. A lot of things going on in the world. Got me a lamp. And that's not what I wanted. A lot of things going on in the world, and one of the biggest things going on right now is the coronavirus outbreak. And this is not going to be... this is not the kind of show where we take a lot of things super seriously. Let's stay away from those dudes. I'm not... and I'm also not willing to sort of like participate in the hysteria. And by that I mean the people that are like, well, I gotta go purchase 18 packages of toilet paper. Hey! You're not allowed in the castle, son. Go home and get some sleep. I don't know. He's like, hey! Hey! There's a really good baby metal song where they go, hey! Or you can do the Navi, hey, listen! I know how to do this because I've played this game a few times. And I've also watched people do playthroughs of this game. It may be a double-digit number of times. This one right here. So, coronavirus is happening. And some people, help me, I'm in the dungeon of the castle. I know there's a hidden path from outside the castle to the garden inside. Oh no, my dad! I told you, you can focus, hold the people, Zelda is your... Okay, so, like I said, I don't want to participate in the hysteria, because I think that there are a lot of people that are just, they don't know what they're talking about. And they just want to freak out. There are also a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about, and they think that there's no... Like, this isn't a thing. This is just like the flu, right? A lot of people have been saying that. And I'm not an expert. You should not come to Pete... Shoot! You should not come to Pete Plays for medical advice. Excuse me, dude, I just stabbed you. Why aren't you paying attention to me? You should not come to Pete Plays for medical advice. But... I've been reading a lot of things, and I would not, like, I'm an educator. I would not. Hey. Oh man, I forgot how different this is from Zella 1. I would not give you information that I did not feel like was reliable, and I would also not give it to you in the context of saying, I'm right, this is definitely what it is. Like, I have read a lot of things. I've been trying to read reports from people who are in the know, from reporters who are studying this sort of thing, or covering this sort of thing, people whose job it is to do this sort of stuff. So I'm trying to give you like decent information, but I get the sense that this is kind of bad, worse than the flu, and also the flu like kills people, right? Like, people die from the flu, and that's really bad. And what's really awesome is that we live in a society. That's one of my favorite weird memes that I don't understand. We live in a society. But we do. We live in, a very specific kind of cultural and social context. Are you, like, stronger? Dang it. That gives us the luxury of even being able to call something a pandemic, right? The ability to call something a pandemic depends upon... What? Oh, no. Is this okay? Do I want to... No! Get... Ow! Alright, well, can't go in there. I don't want to go. After Agatha took over, I was put, well, get out of my way, punk. Okay. Basically, the ability to be like, wow, this is a pandemic, which the World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a pandemic. There are so many things, Jiminy Christmas, that have to happen. And you're probably wondering, like, Peter, what does this have to do with philosophy? Like, how is this a philosophy thing? Well, I think that one of the ways that this is philosophy, punk, is, I just did that. I don't know where I'm going. Is that there are a set of conditions for the possibility of something like, having a modern healthcare system, to studying epidemiology, the scientific progress that is required to be able I think it sounded like I swore there. I wasn't. I didn't. I'm sorry. Ooh, look at this. They teach you what to do. Oh man, this isn't. I gotta go. Okay. And anytime we're talking about the conditions for the possibility of something, I think we're doing philosophy right off the bat, because you're not taking for granted that a thing is there. I can't fall down that. You are saying something appears to be there, but I'm not gonna just assume that what has popped in front of me is all that there is. And this is the basis for critique. This is the basis for the 20th century philosophical movement known as phenomenology. Oh, this is going to take me outside. No, I don't. What? Oh, wait. Maybe I do? Wait, maybe I do want to go outside. I don't do phenomenology, but I think it's really important. And also, I think all philosophy... There's a bee! Get away from me, bee! I don't want to be a bee. Don't want to touch a bee. Don't want the bee to touch me. So yeah, condition for the possibility of. Interestingly, this is a phrase that has become so important in philosophy and was popularized by Kant, such that my Kant professor in my master's, who is an incredibly gifted and fluent German speaker, when he goes to Germany, he says that the guys who check his passport are like, whoa, you don't Like, we thought you were German. Like, that's how good he is. But anyway, he said that the German phrase for condition for the possibility of has crept into German discourse in such a way that you might hear someone say something like, hey, what's the condition for the possibility of getting another round of beer? Right? So it's become part of the... What is it? This dude has a tiny knife. Dude has a little baby knife. Ah! This is not going well. Oh, man. So, philosophy. Condition for the possibility of something. Here we go. I want to go downstairs. Oh, I passed that up last time. Ooh. Nope. Excuse me. Excuse me. Key. Map. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. There's the map. And also, there's that. So here I am in the basement. Haha, goodbye. So condition for the possibility of, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about philosophy. So even when it seems like we're doing something like history or anthropology or something, if the focus of the conversation is not on the thing itself, but on the conditions for the possibility of that thing, I think we're doing philosophy. And that's why people get PhDs, which means, philosophical doctorate. A doctorate in, whatever it is that you... This is bad! This is really bad! I gotta just whap him. I missed that one. Woo! I was actually talking to a friend of mine that I knew in my master's. We were GAs together under the same guy, and she was like, "Whoa, that's crazy! Like you're doing your PhD in philosophy." And she tweeted something like, "How crazy is it that you're getting a philosophical doctorate in something, but then your homie tells you, oh yes, the boomerang, so good! Oh, not the boomerang!" How cool is it when your homie tells you that he's getting a doctorate of philosophy in philosophy? And I was like, I mean, yeah, that's really it. Like, a doctorate in philosophy is the philosophy of philosophy, which is a bit redundant, but if you think about it, the philosophy of anything else is just like, I'm so proficient at this that it's not just a thing that I do, right? This is Plato. I don't just... There's a difference between I know how to put my computer together because... This guy. I know how to put my computer together because I looked up a bunch of stuff on the internet. And I did, right? Like, that's what I did. I wanted to build a computer. I wanted to... I gotta be careful. There we go. Big key! It can open many locks with small keys. Hello!
Thank you, Petey. I had a feeling you were getting close. Listen carefully. The wizard is magically controlling all the soldiers in the castle. I feel the worst for my father. The wizard is an inhuman fiend with strong magical powers.
That's what those three ellipses are. Do you understand? Not at all.
Alright, let's get out of here before the wizard notices. I know a secret path, but first we have to go to the first floor. Let's go!
Rupees! Okay. So, Doctorate of Philosophy. Anyway, condition for the possibility of things, and we're going to make our way back to the coronavirus. When we talk about the ability to say that there's a pandemic, or to look at things on the scale of a whole society, and to think about all of the pieces that go into making that possible, all the apparatuses and institutions that have to go into effect, the healthcare system, and like rapid response teams, and FEMA, and and firefighters and socialized and like socialized school systems that are getting shut down because of fears about because of fears about the virus. All of those things, the condition for the possibility of all those things is the modern rats. I keep hitting the wrong button. Is the modern state. And without the state and how it sort of puts things together, we don't have those things. It's just a plague. I think there's a big difference between a plague and a pandemic. And I think it has everything to do with... Oh dear. I think it has everything to do with... me dying! I think it has everything to do with what are the structures of the society that are... oh dear, this guy's back. Get away! What are the structures of the society that are dealing with this thing that looks like a disease, that makes people ill, that makes people sick, that makes people change their social behavior? Because that's what a virus does. Interestingly, it's not just about, oh no, now I'm sick. It's also about, maybe I'm not sick, or maybe I'm not that sick, but what am I doing to change my behaviors? I'm not going out. I'm not spending money. I'm not, keep me away. I'm not seeing the people that I normally see. I'm not doing the things that I normally do, which are things that make up the structures of society. So I guess I've been just trying to paint a picture of like what goes into being able to say this is a pandemic, this is a public health problem. Goodbye. The condition for the possibility of those being things that we're dealing with is the modern state. Now, there are a lot of different ways of thinking about the modern state. There are a lot of different ways of theorizing about it. But I think one thing that we can all agree on is that the modern state does things like keeps accounts of what its citizens are doing, right? The people that are under it. The people that are under it are sort of accountable in the sense that, or maybe just countable, right? Such that even the word statistics is like state. State is in it, right? You know statistics so that the state knows about all of its people. There's a secret passage in the throne room. There's the old man. Okay. So that the state knows what's in it, right? The statistics are all about how many people are here. How much taxes can I levy on them before they will run out of money? What is their earning power?
The ornamental shelf should open. Do you have a light? It's pitch dark inside and you can't see without one. If you're ready, let's go.
Oh, I have coffee here that I haven't even been drinking. That's the most important part of PETEPLAYS, is drinking the coffee. So, statistics, counting, right, like all these things go into it. So, part of the reason that a pandemic is such a big deal is it has to do with, like, yes, people's lives are at stake, but also from the point of view of the state, it's not about any one individual life, because I keep hitting the wrong button, because it's not about any one individual person. The state is not interested in little Granny Jeannie, little Jeannie May, who is, you know, just having a nice time baking, and she's a very sweet lady, right? Now, it's not to say that, like, politicians might not care about that individual. Like, there are people that love little Granny Jeannie, I love her because I invented her. And I love that she makes cookies and goes out in her garden. But the state as such, like as the state, right? And the state is not a being or an entity. It's a set of processes, right? The state is like a CPU. Except that it can't be like wrapped up into sort of like one unit, right? It's a little bit nebulous. So that being said, the state is all of these processes, and it can't account for one individual person because that's not how it works. It has to look at all the numbers,
After passing through these sewers, we will be very close to the sanctuary. Let's be careful.
Oh dear. Look at these rats. Look at these rats. Give me money. Give me shelter. Right, it's just not... It's just not what the state is capable of dealing with. So it's got to look at big numbers. Some of the big numbers that it looks at are how many people have gotten sick, how many people have died. But often, what it deals with is what we would call economics, right? And this isn't to say that when we do something like epidemiology, all we're worried about is money. But again, this is Foucault's Order of Things, which is an incredibly difficult, dense book, but also the year that it came out in France, it outsold the Bible. So it's a book that was that made a pretty big impact, and I think reasonably so. But he's basically saying that one of the kind of defining characteristics of the modern era is get away. The state uses... Oh, I don't have a bomb. No bombs. I have to purchase them at my nearest corner store. Something like economics is very intimately involved in the counting of the state. Statistics, right? So, Granny Genie only becomes sort of important to the counting of the state insofar as there are lots of Granny Genies or people that are similarly in Granny Genie's position that have a significant impact on the functionings of the state, like the state's ability to basically what Foucault calls raison d'etat, which in French means the reason of the state or the like rationality of the state, which is basically just the state, like any other organism, wants to keep being what it is, and the way that it does that is it extracts resources from the things that make it up: land and people, security, territory, population. Which is the name of one of Foucault's lectures that take up this account, right? Like, you have territory and population, and they have to be secured so that the resources can be extracted from them. Again, this isn't to say that states are necessarily exploitative, it's just that that's what they are. So, pull the switch! I have to pull the right one. No, please die. I don't want him to punch me while I'm... Okay. Is it this one? Yay! Okay, the other one like makes stuff pop out or something. They're gonna talk to me. I'm gonna not pay attention to what they're saying because it doesn't matter. So, the reason that just to wrap up here, the reason that coronavirus is important in terms of looking at the way states function is because it throws a wrench into those plans. It makes the reason it has to be handled sort of like juggled and balanced is because if you don't do anything, it not only will it literally kill people, but also sort of the way that people act means that people are going to go, there's a virus, our state didn't do anything to protect us, and that's bad for the state, right? It's bad for the people that run the state, and it's bad for the functions of the state. But if you go too much the other way, then the state becomes too heavy-handed, and people are like, this isn't actually something that we should be afraid of. What is the state doing to us? They're not telling us the truth. They're making us do these things that don't have any sort of purpose. And this is the constant balancing act with anything that a state would make people do. Thank you, please, I understand. Give me the contents of this. Hey! What? I want... There we go. Yeah, so there's this balancing act that has to be done. And it's the same with coronavirus as it is with just about anything else. But... No, not another... Get away. Oh, I killed the bee. Oh, no, the bees are dying. I can't have killed bees. Oh, boy. So, that's why coronavirus is a big deal. But also it's a big deal because, you know what? Granny Jeannie is at risk more than most people. Coronavirus is, from what I've read, just a really bad upper respiratory infection. It's a virus that gets into sort of like membranes and like tissues and stuff that make up your respiratory tract. And children won't affect them too much unless they're immunocompromised. Children tend to have pretty robust immune systems, and they might not even show symptoms. I think we've got to end up going this way. People like my age should be fine. Like, again, it'll be like a really bad upper respiratory infection. Now, the people that are at risk are older folk. So many bees! I've never had this many bees in a single playthrough. I don't think that's true. Older folk who tend to have weaker immune systems, people who are on immunosuppressants because of some kind of medication that they're taking or for other reasons. Let's fall in here. People who are otherwise immunocompromised, people who have upper respiratory problems like pulmonary function problems, people with cystic fibrosis, people with bad asthma. I have asthma, so I'm a little bit at risk, but like not nearly as much as somebody who has like really bad asthma, or somebody who has like an otherwise like really rough thing. So it's a big deal. Like, and the reason that we should care about this is because we should care about people. And it's honestly, it's hard to kind of keep your humanity sometimes when you have to look at it from the big perspective of like, okay, we will have handled this virus outbreak well if X number of people die. Like, only X number of people, right? That feels like a really horrifying thing to do and to say. But I think healthcare workers are people who are really good at just constantly managing that tension of, I need to care for this individual person in front of me, and also I understand that the reality of this is that it will go well if it's only this bad. I think that our ability to sort of, this is where I'm trying to, I guess I could look at the map. I understand, no. Continue the game. There it is. I understand that my... Oh, do I want to go back to my house? Oops. I guess I went the wrong way. I should have paid attention to what the guy said. Anyway, yeah, it's just important to keep all those things in mind. I think that the danger here and the place that we start to get messed up is when we think, I want to make sure that some interest is protected over the interests of looking at the population. And boink! Our current sort of political model in America, which is in general kind of like against the idea of the welfare state, even though I think most people don't even have a very well-formed idea of what that even really means. they're sort of against that idea, so they want to have this sort of like free market capability, and the state isn't supposed to do things. Well, no, the state is supposed to do things. It's just like, what kinds of things is the state supposed to be doing? Is this it? Oh, no, a little farther south. What kinds of things is the state supposed to be doing? And if one of the things that the state is supposed to be doing is taking care of the people in it so that the state can continue to be a state, then that makes us ask questions about what kinds of things should the state be doing to take care of those people, given what the goals of the state are. The goals of some state are not to take care of all the people in the state. The goals of some states are, how do we create a society that's as even across the board as we can, given existential differences. I have my doubts that America is that kind of society, but I hope that it will try to be. So, I guess to wrap up, I just want to say, the reason that we look at things like the condition for the possibility of something is because I think that makes us know, that helps us to ask, like, what is this thing that I have? And what is this thing that I have, and how do I know what it is so that I don't think that it's something else, so that I don't mistake it for something else? How do we know what the purpose of the American healthcare system is so that we don't mistake it for something that it's not supposed to be? I think that this is one of the primary defining problems of politics in the modern era, which is we think we're doing 18th century Enlightenment politics, and we're actually doing 21st century biopolitical politics. So I can get more into that on the next. I'm just going to make Link to the Past, Link to the Philosophy. So I'm going to keep bringing up these kinds of things because, I've had like an insane amount of fun doing this. So I'm really excited that I was able to do that and talk about that with you guys. I hope it kind of made any amount of sense. But yeah, that's not the end of the conversation. If you're interested in these sorts of things, I wouldn't suggest diving into the order of things. It's incredibly difficult. I would suggest maybe reading The Birth of the Clinic by Foucault. It's a little bit easier. Or just reading the Wikipedia page on these things. Because that's just sort of like, hey, 5 minutes, scroll through, like read about security, territory, population, or read about the idea of biopolitics. There's another book of Foucault's called The Birth of Biopolitics that's about these sort of things. And we'll get more into it next time. We did a lot of things. We beat the first dungeon, or the pre-dungeon. But anyway, that's been great. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you next time on PETEPLAYS. Bye, guys.